All right, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Cafe, and at this time, remember it's Tuesday, and Tuesday is Business Finance Tuesday. Today we are talking matters, balancing savings and overcoming debt. I guess this is something that affects all of us in one way or the other. Have you been in debt? And that is the question that we're asking today. So can you save while still in debt? How do you avoid financial traps? What's the best way to structure your budget? And our expert in studio is Jacqueline Mwange, financial advisor, and she's here to help us to break it down for us. And Jackie, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well.
Just start us off. Tell us, for how many years have you been dealing with matters, money, finances as a financial advisor? For how many years?
So I've been a financial advisor for now 8 years, just helping people navigate financial planning.
Yeah. How is it?
It's beautiful, like understanding different personalities and how it affects money and seeing the transformation as a journey with people. Yeah.
So it's a finance class here today, and remember to interact with us on our social media platforms, of course, at TV47 Kenya on Facebook and YouTube, as well as X at TV47 News KE. There will be a number on your screen as well, so call in case you have any questions for Jackie. She's here and she is capable to answer all of this. Now, Jackie, I want us to start first of all with understanding the nature of debt. I think this will also form the basis of our conversation. We've heard of good and bad debts. So kindly break it down for us.
So either good or bad debts, just as the term states, it all goes back to the intention or the purpose of why you're taking the debt.
Okay.
If debt is that, let's say you're a business person and you're taking debt to start a new business, then that I will term as bad debt.
Yeah.
Because this business has not been, you're at pilot phase of the business. It's not an existing business. You do not have any records for it. So taking a loan to start a new business, then that would be a bad debt because it's a kuchoma and you'll have to repay for something that you're not earning from. So let's say you're an employed person and you take a debt to, let's say, show people that you're doing well. Maybe you want to do a birthday party for your child and you had not really planned for it, and then that's a bad debt. But if you're taking debt to maybe grow or scale an existing business, then that is good debt. Yeah.
And when you're talking about don't take loans to start a business, mahali pa kwanza. So what do you recommend that they do? If now taking loans to start a business, which is just in its pilot stage, then aanze aje?
There's a lady I came across. She's in the fashion industry. She just does simple business where she takes kitenge and she will do kimonos and that. So if you listen to her story, she says that she started her business with 5,000 Kenya shillings. And right now she's used the digital platforms like the many that we have in this country. And that's how she's grown her business. But if she took a loan when it was typically new and you have a whole learning curve in business, then maybe that will have burnt her in business and she will have to just repay. But she started with 5K and grew slowly over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So savings play a role in trying to also just start a business without savings.
Yes.
Okay. And you know, when we're talking about taking a loan, of course, somebody takes a loan for important things, to say maybe to get a car or let's say, or to start a business, tumesema that is a bad debt, of course.
Yeah.
So what do we need to understand before taking a loan?
You need to understand the cost of loan. That is the interest rate that you're being charged and the period that you're being given. And is this loan from, because you can get a loan either from a SACCO, bank or microfinance.
Okay.
And all these three have different loan processing fees and they have different terms. So you need to understand the nitty-gritties and the hidden charges that come with these loans. Because obviously the longer periods tend to have better rates. And once you get a huge chunk, you can come and place in the loan and reduce. And is the loan on reducing balance or otherwise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you can take us through understanding the interest rates that are available for banks, SACCOs, and microfinance that you've mentioned, of course, just to understand how these interest rates works, why they charge the way they charge, and that is for bank, SACCOs, and microfinance. We'll use this board, and I think all of us tuko na kalamu hapa. I'll just need to clear this and let's remove all this first of all. Okay, let's get a new page here. Sawa.
Okay, so the different costs are things like
for banks,
yeah.
SACCOs, and microfinance.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So they all, these are like standard costs. They all have processing fees, which can be 1 to 5% of the loan amount that you want to get. So let's say you want to get 2 million, then it would be 1% of the loan amount. The other costs are like insurance fees. This is to protect the institution in the event of your death as the loan uptaker, or in the event of, let's say, disability or retrenchment. So the institution can then tell you, you can take this up. You can go to, let's say, an insurance company and take it up as an individual for that loan, or you use the existing relationship they have under whatever insurance company, which is always the cheaper option. Yeah. The other is the early repayment fees.
This applies for the three?
Yes, okay. for the three. Yeah, early repayment fees. So you will find, let's say you've taken a car loan, and if you clear it, let's say you were supposed to clear it maybe in the next 2 years, but you manage and clear it within 1 or 1.5, there's normally a certain hidden charge, which is the early repayment. So they need to reimburse that to you, and they vary depending on the institution. Yeah, and the late repayment. This is if you default or if you want to extend your loan period. So these are normally the standard charges across the three.
That is banks, SACCOs, and microfinance.
Yeah.
And you know, people sometimes go for these digital lenders. We talk about Mshwari, we have Kashtala, ziko hapo at a disposal. So which one is better? Because I know Kenyans love these ones. Unaona wamemarinate hivyo venye mzuri. And I understand that between these ones and now the digital lenders, which one has a higher interest rate? Because for digital lenders, they are 1 month. I haven't seen one that offers for an annual. No. So which one has a higher interest rate?
So short.
We can create another one. Let me. Yeah. So
basically, the short loans, let's say from the digital apps. Yeah. Then we have here long. So long, even banks also have short. Even the microfinance, they have short. But I think so here will be banks and SACCOs. Okay. So all this, as you've seen, these are private entities. And reason why private entities exist is to make money. So one of the avenues where they make money is through providing loans. So from the interest, they take a certain percentage from the interest rates to make money, to help them operate and also pay salaries for its employees. Okay. And other than that, so what determines the interest rate is the risk that comes with the loans. So is this loan that they are giving, let's say in digital apps, in most cases is not a group loan. It's individual and it does not have collateral attached to it. So it becomes really high. But if you take advantage of maybe as a group, or let's say your employer has a relationship with a certain bank, then you take, let's say, a check-off loan. You see the risk is kind of reduced. So you get it at a lower interest. Or if you go to a SACCO and take it as a group where you have people signing up for you the loan, then the interest rate is lower. So it reduces the risk and the interest rate goes lower.
Amazing. So what do you think is driving Kenyans into debt? Because Kenyans, we are very much into debt. And you would agree with me, you're in the finance field. What do you think is the reason as to why a lot of Kenyans are borrowing? And most of the time, they're borrowing and do not repay these loans.
Yeah, I've had scenarios where somebody tells you, I have an account at this digital app. They took up a loan and they never repaid. They went and opened another, or from this institution. Then they closed that account and went and opened another one. One is maybe, yes, the cost of living is high. So people do not want to downsize their living standards, maybe because they do not want to be perceived like they are suffering. But I feel if they downsize, then their uptake for loans will also reduce and they'll not have the stresses that come with loans. Yeah.
So it's mostly because of the high cost of living and lifestyle. Now, tuseme wale ambao, they're just in debt because they want to live large, you know? They want to take these loans. Of course, loans ndo zinaeka watu into debt. Somebody is taking a loan because they want to go to Mombasa, the coast. Somebody, right now, Valentine is around the corner. You also said something about mtu anataka kuonyesha the way they are living their best lives. So how does that come to play when now people are now taking loans for such kind of large living?
So what I will say is that Valentine's, it's not an emergency. Last year, October, we knew that February will come and we'll have Valentine's. And now we know that April will come and we'll have Easter, and we'll have so many adverts in the digital space about trips to Mombasa and all that. And now we are in February, and December will come where we'll see people maybe going to the village for Christmas or traveling abroad for their holiday, for their Christmas holidays. So if you can plan that in advance and say maybe like between now and April, it's about a month or so. So how much do I need to spend for maybe my April holiday, let's say at the cost? Is it 50,000? Is it 60,000? And this is the much that I earn and these are my expenses. But I really feel the urge of going to the coast for this holiday. Then reduce on your expenses and use this income to save towards your April holiday. Then when April comes, you'll go to your holiday, but you will not take up a loan. Then after you come back from your holiday, you're here repaying that loan for a holiday that was never an emergency. You saw it coming.
So hizi vitu ni zitakuja na zitaenda.
Zitakuja na zitaenda.
All right, now that you're talking about digital lenders, bank and microfinance, I want to take you back there. Would you recommend really digital lenders? Because like I said before, hizi ni vitu ziko at our disposal. So would you recommend?
I wouldn't recommend because habits, this is a bad habit and they're there to make the business. If you're okay repaying that huge interest rate, and I think if somebody does the math and see, okay, I took a loan maybe for 10,000 to do, maybe to go to Nakuru for let's say a weekend, or to Naivasha, but after that I maybe paid 4K extra on it. Then the following month again. So for a year you've paid, let's say 4K times 12 times 12 months. You see, that's really high. But if you can go the other traditional where you get to save, then you will not be hooked into the digital lending apps.
Right. Maybe as you continue, you can have a seat. as we wait for the next segment where tukiendelea na class ya finance. And back to a topic of the day, which is overcoming, balancing savings and overcoming debt. Now, how does this savings and debt management fit into this economic concept? We've talked about sahi kuna, it's tough economic times and we can all see it, we can all feel it. How does savings and debt fit into this at the moment?
So when things are tough for an economy, that means the value of money goes down.
Yeah.
And these institutions take advantage, because business is all about taking advantage of whatever economic situation that is there. It's not bad, because if you look at it this way, during when COVID came,
Yeah.
businesses took advantage by selling sanitizers and these masks. So now, when the economy is really tough and the inflation rates are high, the value of money goes down and the interest rates goes high.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's a trend that the government is trying to do to push these institutions to lower their interest rates. So that will be of benefit to the people within the economy of this country, if that is successful.
Yeah. Do you see it working though, the reduction of these interest rates? Because I remember these interest rates for most of the bank and even digital lenders shot during the 2022 period immediately after election. So do you see it happening really, even as you say the government is planning to ensure that there is a reduction of these interest rates?
Yeah, they have been reducing. If you've actually taken a loan, let's say with the banks, because they normally send out loan statements on a monthly basis, they have been reducing, but in small percentages. But the goal here is that it has been going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small percentages in your feel.
How I feel, but it's going down. So maybe hopefully, let's say by July, they will go down maybe to 10-12%.
Yeah. And I think, we asked our viewers if they've been in debt. Of course, watupigie simu watuambie. Have you been in debt, Jacqueline? And how did you manage it?
Yes, I have been in debt, and that is actually what made me go into the route of finance. Yeah, because I used to take this small digital lending, the M-Shwaris and such kind of things. Then, so when money comes in, you feel like your employer is paying you less.
Yeah.
But it's because you had taken this loan, so you use your income to go to this loan replacements. But when I chose to opt out, so I can confidently tell people I took up loans and these were the consequences and this is how I used to live my life.
How did you opt out?
I opted out by analyzing all the loans that I had and the interest rates and the periods that I had. So I started paying up the loans that had a high interest rate. Yeah.
Can we do a breakdown of that with an example?
Sure.
Let me just, yes.
So if you want to opt out of loans, what you do is here you come list your loans. So you have loan 1, loan 2, and loan 3. And you also write this is the interest rate on that loan. And this is the loan term, the repayment period. And you can write here maybe the stress that the loan is giving you. So maybe one is on a digital app, and the other one maybe is in a chama, because you don't want to break your relationship with the social capital that you have. And maybe one is with a circle, and maybe you took another one through payroll at your bank.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe then here you itemize the different interest rates. Maybe for chama, most cases they will charge 10%. They're about, and maybe SACCO, let's say 14% on reducing balance. And banks, last year they went even to a high of 21%.
Okay.
Yeah, and the digital apps, pardon?
It's 20 for digital.
20, yeah, 20%. And maybe this one you're repaying it within, let's say, maybe 2 months. 2 months. For a chama, you have 6 months to repay. For a sacco, you have 2 years to repay. And maybe for a bank, you have 4 years to repay. And you feel like maybe the chama one is giving you much stress because you have to meet up on a monthly basis. Yeah, and the interest rate of table banking. And for the digital ones, they keep prompting you with SMSs every day when you're having your lunch at Java. Yeah, pay now and get your refund, then you pay and you don't get the refund. So this is maybe giving you 3 stresses. Then for a sacco, it's kind of reasonable, so we can put this at 1. And for banks, you don't know if the rates will go high or what. So you can put it at 4. So what you do is that you don't pay one and refuse to pay these others because it will pile up. So you can allocate a huger amount towards this and like that, depending on the stresses. And then this, a higher amount like that. And maybe this a lower amount. So let's say from your income, you've said you're paying, let's say 20,000 towards the loans. So this is how you distribute your loan repayment.
So is it as advisable to save while in debt, or should one clear these debts first?
No, you need to save. We can open a new one and see.
A new one.
So let's say this person is earning 50,000, right?
Yes.
50,000 Kenya shillings. Then we can do the 50, 30.
Yeah.
And
that is the budgeting rule.
Yeah, that's the budgeting rule. So at the 50 here, this is where they have their needs. So one of the needs is you have to pay rent. Otherwise, the caretaker will put a padlock on your door. So you have your rent. And on this house that you're living in, you have your utilities. Yeah, water, electricities, and such kind of things. Then 3, you have food, right? So you can say on the rent, you can allocate, let's say, okay, I'd written it down somewhere.
I think for both needs, if you're doing the 50, 30, 20, it should be around 25.
Yeah. Yes, so this is 25,000, and here you have your wants. You have allocated 15. This is 15,000, and so wants, needs, and
savings.
Yeah, savings.
Savings as well as debt, or loans.
Yeah. So here you can say some of your wants is the debt repayment. Repayment. Right? And we live in a society, it's good to go out, it's good to cook some meat for your friends in the house. So here you can say this is for your socials, right? The other amount. So you can say maybe for your socials, you allocate 5,000, and these socials can also be family. Because you'll not tell your mother you do not have 1,000 bob for her little shopping back in the village because you're repaying your debts. Then this savings, you can say 5,000. You can put it maybe in maybe life insurance, which will give you tax relief benefits, because you want to increase this amount, 50,000, because if you're saving 5,000, so it will give you 15% of 5,000 as extra income. Then the extra income, you can put it in a emergency fund. The 15%, this is where it comes in, and you can add maybe 1,000 bob, right, to it. So now you have 6,000. Then you have a remaining of 4,000, which you can say, and these loans that I really have, they are too many. So you top this 4,000 to your debt repayment. So you have balanced your savings and wants towards debt repayment, and you have your emergency fund to help you not take up more loans, because you have a kitty that you can fall into in the event of an emergency instead of taking up a loan.
Yeah. Is this realistic for everyone?
It is realistic, because the many people that I've sat down with over the 8 years, we've done this simple math. When you're starting, it seems like big, hectic. When you're telling a person you need to even track your daily expenses, and we even have digital apps to help do that. That small PK you buy while commuting, maybe from home to work in a matatu, it will cost maybe 10 bob, 20 bob. Tracking all that, and then you'll find within 3-6 months, somebody says the 50-30-20 rule. Very simple to apply. It's just like going to the gym. Initially, you feel like, oh, your knees, they can't do this, but the more you do it, it becomes a habit, and you get to enjoy how you look like. So even this, you get to enjoy the freedom that your finances give you. Yeah.
What of the people who are living now from paycheck to paycheck? How does this work for them?
The question is, why are they living paycheck to paycheck? That means they are exhausting. Maybe they've not allocated maybe 50% on their needs. Maybe they've allocated 70% here, and they have no savings. So if their check is shaken up, this person starts having mental stresses. They say they are depressed. Yet this rule can help them navigate not to get them.
But you see, what are the available options for people now living from paycheck to paycheck? Because I understand that for these people, maybe I want any other option of getting other sources of income or investment options, and we'll be coming down later on into investment options and savings. But what is the solution for them? Because maybe they don't have another choice, and we talk about mtu ni mgonjwa nyumbani, but they have no other way. So what works for them?
You know,
or we create another bed.
But let's say uko na mtu mgonjwa nyumbani, you have this whole community depending on you. Maybe you're the breadwinner. Exactly. Black tax will always be there. But you can say black tax ends with me.
Okay.
So you start thinking of now you're earning the 50,000, right? So no matter the black tax, you'll always have also your own personal emergencies. And if you're the head, like you're the breadwinner in this family, so if this 50,000 is shaken and you have several people depending on the 50,000 who will be there to support the person earning the 50,000. So I always say it's to whom much is given, much is expected. But also remember, if you want the black tax to end with you, then one, you need to allocate something towards your emergency. And emergency, this is money that you put in you can even put it, let's say, in a money market fund. There are so many, but you look at an institution that is stable and allocate the money there. That way, in case of anything, you can easily access that money. Then the second thing that makes people label people as black tax is health. So for health, you can take a simple, maybe private insurance cover, or you register for the government one, and hopefully it will improve. That way, and you can register even your parents for it. That way they will visit a nearest dispensary or health center near their home. And the other thing is that these parents are already retired. They are at home. You're earning 50,000 because you're employed. There are retirement funds where you can save as little as 1,000 bob. So this is maybe a 30-year-old, and they have 30 years to retirement. So you can imagine they've been saving 1,000 bob for 30 years, plus the interest rate that this has been earning. Then the kids to this 50,000 income earner, when it gets to retirement, they will not be also labeled as black tax by their children. Yeah, so if one organizes these 3 items, then paycheck to paycheck ends.
Should not be an issue, right?
Should not be an issue.
Maybe you can also tell us why it's important to ensure that you have an emergency fund even when you're still in debt.
So an emergency fund, first you have to analyze, like, what is an emergency to me?
Okay.
Is buying a new dress that I've seen a hawker saying, mia mia.
we get a new phrase. What is an emergency to me?
Okay, yes. So you need to say, what is an emergency to me? Not to Jackie or to Anne or to Victor. You need to say, what is an emergency according to me? So is an emergency a health situation out of, let's say I got sick, then is it an emergency? Or my parent got sick, is it an emergency? 2, is clothing an emergency, really? 3, you can say holiday planning. Is it an emergency? Christmas imefika, you've only showed up with bread, unga za ugali mbili, then you come back from the village with a whole gunia, but you took little. It's not an emergency. 4, is entertainment an emergency? Because you want to fit into this social group that you have. So you've gone maybe just across the road, maybe to Karura over the weekend, or you've gone to a certain club and you cannot afford the billings. You can just choose to chill at home.
Education
then,
as well?
Yeah. So is education for your children, is it really an emergency? Because this child, today you're with them at home watching Cocomelon, but in the next 4 years they'll be joining preschool, but you had a whole 4 years to prepare for their education. Is it really an emergency? The other thing you can say is home ownership. Home, I don't know if
we can create another one here, or we do an
I can put a line. Yeah. Is home ownership a plan? We have this whole fuss of Mugoda Maguta. You need to buy an apartment. You've heard that maybe land prices are going down, but the apartment prices are going up. So now you want to purchase all lands in the middle of nowhere. Is it really an emergency? The other thing you can look at is retirement an emergency. Because I've had situations where people get benefits, let's say from their employer, where they work for this institution and they're given accommodation or housing allowance by their employer. Then when they get to 60, they're told, okay, you'll be retiring maybe in July, and we are now in January. They wonder, what? So that means I need to look for a house by July, Nini, and all that. Yet you had all this number of years to prepare for your retirement. So for this emergency kitty that you're opening, you can say, if I don't want to tap into health for an emergency, what is it that I can get? I can get a private insurance, or I can register for the government health scheme that they have. Is clothing really an emergency? And then I can say, I can get maybe some extra source of income, maybe by getting new skills. And from that, I'll have extra cash and maybe go to Toy Market, Gikomba, or wherever and buy some decent quality clothing that will last me maybe the following year. Not necessarily cheap. You can also look at good quality, which can take you longer. You can even go to Isili, such kind of places. This holiday, how soon do I want to go for holiday? So between now and then, what's the duration that I have? What's the cost of this holiday? Do I go to a hotel, or do I get an Airbnb, or do I have a high school friend who resides in that area that it will be also, you'll kill 2 birds with one stone, where you meet your friend and also get to enjoy your holiday. Entertainment is it really maybe you have your clique of girls or boys, but you know on a monthly basis, you'll spend, let's say, 3,000 bob. So I can put this in my emergency where it earns an interest, and then when we are ready to go hang out, I can just pull out my 3K. Education, you can get an education insurance policy for your child where hiyo ni pesa haugusi, but it will come and help you in later years. Home ownership, we have different institutions that give home ownership platforms where you save, and it also gives you tax benefits for that. And so is retirement. Yeah.
All right, just hold on to that. When we come back, we want to take a look at now the emergency fund and future planning. Of course, we're talking about balancing savings and overcoming debt with Jacqueline here, financial advisor. So stay with us. You're watching Morning Cafe.
Are you ready to elevate your business game?
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
Kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara, huwezi kaa bure, unajipanga taratibu vile inavyofaa.
Join us each week as we dive into the stories of the world's most driven entrepreneurs.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
The Grind, where business meets brilliance. Tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. because your business deserves the best.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for
It's Finance Tuesday. We're talking about balancing savings and overcoming debt with Jacqueline Mwangi, our financial advisor. And before we went on that very short break, we were talking about emergency fund. And tuliandika hapa chini tukasema, what is an emergency to me when you're trying to come up with an emergency fund? And Jackie, we say that when we come back, we'll now be doing the emergency fund and future planning, the formula that is used. I understand that there's something to do with the salary that you earn for the next 3 months that should constitute the emergency fund. So maybe you can also highlight that while you jot it down.
Okay.
You can start by telling us the 3 months.
Okay. So how you can build up, maybe we need to open a new one.
Yes, we do. Right, huh?
So how you can, so let's say this is building up the emergency fund. So simple rule is we start with 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. The basic expenses, because an emergency fund is that money that comes and saves you should your income be interrupted, right? And you want to maybe maintain the same kind of living standard as you look for the next opportunity. So remember earlier on I'd said about tracking your daily expenses. So you can say 1, you itemize them, maybe rent, 2, utilities, 3, you can have groceries over here, 4, you can have the basic shopping. This is tissues, sanitaries, and all that. 5, so you will list them depending on whether you're single or married. They vary with age.
Yeah.
So this amount, maybe it accumulates, let's say, to 10K per month. So you've opened an emergency fund. Let's say you've taken up a money market fund in institution A. So the goal is you're earning your 50,000, but I'm slowly saving, let's say, 4,000 a month towards this emergency fund. So you should do 10 times 3 months. So that's 30,000 Kenya shillings. So your 4,000, you should slowly and consistently build it up to 30,000. Then when you get to 30,000, usiseme umefika. So again, multiply it by 6. So now extend that to 30 times 2. So 60K. So if anything happens to you, you have money to live worth 6 months. And then you can even extend it to 1 year, to 2 years, like that, before you distribute your savings to other channels.
So what are some of the contingency options or plans in case anything happens? Okay, let's say I already have this emergency fund. I've built it so well, but something happens, sickness happens. Somebody maybe needs education somewhere. Maybe, let's say I'm stepping in for my brother and paying school fees for the child. So what contingency plans are available in such a case?
So one, you need to understand, you cannot save everyone.
Again, goes back to that.
And if you try save everyone, the day your income is interrupted, these same people you're trying to save, they will come and say that, how come you didn't have an emergency fund? How come you're telling us that you're struggling, yet you used to support us? I don't know what happened to your income. So I think in the previous slide where we had highlighted what is an emergency according to me. So if it's health or education that you foresee that maybe your sibling back at home will tell you you need to support your niece and make you feel guilty about it, you can even take up an education policy for your niece. Maybe your niece today is maybe an year old, and maybe in the next 10 years they'll be going to grade 7, that is junior secondary, and they might need your help. So for the first, between PP1 to grade 6, you can minimally support. Then when they come of age to go to junior secondary, you have your education policy that you've been contributing to, and that money can be channeled directly to your niece's school. So if it is health, you can register your parents, your siblings on their behalf, and even you pay for them. If you doubt that if you send money, they will not pay up. So you can register them and pay up for their health costs. All
right, Jackie, let's have a seat. Of course, we are about to close. And you can also tell us the first thing someone should cut down on when trying to manage savings and debt.
One is rent. Let's say you're living in an apartment where you're paying 30,000 Kenya shillings, and now your income can no longer support that. Remember, your landlord is a business person. So the more 30,000 you pay, it might be helping the kids or them in repaying a loan that they have. Move to a cheaper house, and there are so many options. Or you can even move to a place near your workplace. That way you don't have to be commuting long distances. You just have to walk maybe 5 minutes to your workplace. You can change maybe the places where you shop for your groceries and shopping. You can time for unlimited offers, reasonable offers, and go to them. Yeah, you just have to live as though you do not have, but keep it in mind that it's only for a short period, and work towards changing your financial situation.
They say saving is a mindset.
Yeah.
But how do we now change that mindset to now align with the saving culture?
So savings is goal-oriented. The same way, if you go to, let's say, a work interview, your employer, that panel, they'll ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years or 1 year in this institution? So one needs to have a meeting with themselves and ask themselves, where do I see myself in the next 1 year? Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? And have that vision, envision it, then work towards it. Otherwise, if you do not have that critical meeting with yourself, then 5 years will come, 10 years you will come, and the only thing you will say is that I've been working in this institution for 10 years, but I feel as though they do not appreciate my skill or my capability.
Yeah. All right, so as we close, Jackie, what's your take on investments versus savings? Should people prioritize one over the other, or zote same and same, ziende?
So the difference maybe goes to the definition, but you need to have savings for you to be able to invest. And saving is just putting your money, let's say, on this table or in a piggy bank where it's not growing, then that is a saving. In today's economy, it does not appreciate just saving idle money. So you need to place it in a place where it's earning for you. So as long as that money you've set aside and it's earning for you an interest rate above the inflation rate, then just know you're investing. But slowly that money keeps compounding and the interest rate will be bigger and your fund will grow bigger. Yep. So
we have a question coming in for you. Someone is asking, how can they manage their financial goals? Okay. Balancing short-term needs and long-term financial goals.
So short-term needs can be like going for a holiday. You want maybe to go to a certain destination, that's a short-term goal. You can open a money market fund and say this fund is dedicated towards my holiday planning towards this destination. So we can put short-term goals between, let's say, 6 months to 2 years. Then that's where now you balance your income and your expenses and still save towards this short-term goal, because you'll go for that holiday, but you still have these long-term goals that are coming up. And long-term goals can be, let's say, education to your children, or you want to marry. No, marriage is more of short term. You don't want to say your wedding is costing 2 million and what you're bringing to the table is 50,000. You need to bring a decent amount to the table. Otherwise, you'll start saying you do not have friends, yet you did not plan for that. Then long-term goals can be like retirement. When you say retirement to a 25-year-old who has just started working, it seems too far. But these people, they can take the advantage of time and build up a fund towards their retirement with as little as 1,000 bob, as I had earlier said. And they can think of what other costs come with retirement age, because in your golden years, you tend to get sick. But if you had not planned your fund well, then how can I access quality medical facilities in your retirement age? How can I be going for holidays also when I'm at retirement? How can I live the life I used to live in my youthful years at retirement? So you build that huge amount slowly over the years. That's how you get to to balance.
Yeah. Of course, now in your final remarks, tell us the financial habits that we should now be embracing for us not to go into debts and also just embrace savings.
Work hard, work smart, get an extra skill, and do not live beyond your means. Consult experts in the different investment vehicles that are there, and dream big but start small and be consistent. You'll see the change.
All right, and I'm told that we should at least ask you something else. You see, now for this one, now that you're looking at this, the 50, 30, 20 rule,
yes.
And let's say this person is in debt, ile kubwa sana. Now, how does this percentage shift for them, the 50, 30, 20? We are looking at, we were using 50,000, yeah?
Yes.
Needs 25, wants 15, and savings and debts, 10,000 Kenya shillings. How does this shift for them? We do a new page?
We can still use this. I think it's okay.
Okay. It's okay.
So we can say their needs is 25, wants is 15, and the savings is 10.
Yeah.
But maybe they have a loan of, let's say, 200,000 Kenya shillings. And maybe they need to repay it over the next 2 years, so they can reduce their rent, because at times utilities are kind of standard.
Okay.
And food is kind of standard depending on where you reside. So if you reduce on your rent, then the cost of food goes down. And this extra amount, it can go to debt repayment. But this person, they'll rather have still an emergency fund. And they should also have a life insurance because of the tax relief benefit and income replacement that comes with the 5,000 that they have, because they have people depending on them. So should, let's say, this person gets disabled, then the life insurance will come in as income replacement. Or should death come for this 50,000 income earner, then the family is left behind with the income replacement in the event of death, and the family can use that money to repay some of these debts.
Okay.
Maybe it was a debt in a chama and such kind of things. Yeah.
All right. And there's a question here for you, and Chidozie from Nigeria.
Oh,
see?
wow.
We are going even overboard. And he's asking, how can I balance saving for short-term goals, e.g. vacation, with long-term goals, e.g. retirement? You answered that. And he's also asking, how can I negotiate with creditors to reduce interest rates, that is fees or principal?
Good question. So what you do is always make sure you have a good relationship with, let's say, the bank, the microfinance, or the circle that you took, and you have maybe a relationship manager. You can easily reach out should your income be tampered with. Maybe like in this case we said 50,000, maybe they are allocating let's say 6,000 on a monthly basis towards their loan repayment. So when things are really thick, they can just walk into those institutions and tell them, this is how my finances have been affected, so we need to work this around, and they will give you new repayment terms.
All right,
as long as you're open and honest.
Yes. That is Chidozie from Nigeria. Thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for watching. Of course, Jackie, thank you for the great insights that you've given us on finance, and of course savings as well as debt, how we should also prepare for in case of an emergency. Just everything in general. So we bring it to a close at this point. You're watching Morning Cafe and Tumefunga Kazi. So we'll see you bright and early tomorrow. My name is Anne Odida. Good morning and have a good day.